So right now I'm going to write an introduction example paragraph for you and show you how you could write a strong introductory paragraph as well. So the first thing I want you to remember is the Dorito chip. So right here. So remember that you start with a really broad idea, like a universal statement or a statistic. Then your second step is to introduce your topic or maybe further develop your topic. And then finally, you get down to the point at the bottom. And then your point is your thesis, which you should all have written anyway. So what I'm actually going to do for this example paragraph is I'm going to combine a universal statement and a statistic. And that would be a really strong hook statement. So because the purpose of that hook is to grab the attention of your reader. So I'm going to start with first a universal statement that pretty much everyone would agree with or has heard about this topic. So here's my universal statement. My universal statement is the death penalty has been one of the most hotly debated arguments over the past 50 years. Okay, maybe even longer than that, but we're going to just say 50 years. So now I'm going to give you an interesting statistic as well. So I'm combining two types of hooks together to make one good one. So here's my statistic. In fact, since the late 1970s, nearly 1,400 people have been killed using the death penalty. And there are currently 3,035 individuals on death row awaiting their execution. So you don't know what my position is yet. You don't know whether or not I support the death penalty or I don't support it. All you know is an interesting fact. You know that the death penalty is something that a lot of people debate and argue over. And you also know this interesting fact that there's been so many people that have been put to death on using the death penalty, and also that there are a lot of people still on death row awaiting the death penalty. So now I'm going to kind of develop my topic further, talk more about it. Again, each of these sections should be more than one sentence, and total, your introductory paragraph should be a minimum of 5 sentences. So here's how I'm going to further develop this topic. All right, what many people don't know is that the death penalty is considered one of the most barbaric forms of punishment in the United States. This is largely because many innocent people have been accidentally convicted and given the death penalty. I'm going to use better word choice here. Accidentally convicted and sentenced with the death penalty. There we go. For example, so now I'm going to support this with an example. According to Newsweek.com, since 1973, 144 people have been exonerated after being killed using the death penalty. This not only means that 144 innocent people have lost their lives, but that the real convict was not caught in those cases. Oops. I'm going to say criminal instead of convict. All right, so let's read this again. What many people don't know is that the death penalty is considered one of the most barbaric forms of punishment in the United States. This is largely because many innocent people have been accidentally convicted and sentenced with the death penalty. For example, according to Newsweek.com, since 1973, 144 people have been exonerated after being killed using the death penalty. This not only means that 144 innocent people have lost their lives, but that the real criminal was not caught in those cases. I'm going to add one more sentence here. Clearly, this is an ongoing issue that needs to be resolved. All right, now you probably know that I don't support the death penalty, at least in this example paragraph. This isn't really something that I thought of, but just an example that I found and kind of wrote up. So you know, based on what I said here, that I'm leading to the point that the death penalty is an issue. So here is my thesis statement. The death penalty should not be legal because innocent lives are at risk. People pay millions in tax dollars to fund the death penalty system, and mentally ill people are often convicted and executed. So there you see the three things that I'm going to talk about in my three body paragraphs. The innocent lives that were lost, the financial cost to taxpayers, and the issue of mentally ill people being convicted and executed. So there's a good example of what a nice, strong introductory paragraph looks like. And now it's your turn. Go ahead and write your own. You can rewatch this video and stop and do it step by step. Look back at your notes. Look at the example Dorito chip model that you have in your note paper from last week. And this paragraph is something that hopefully you have been working on. And if not, this video will help you finish it up in class today.